All right, guys, what is going on? My name.
We're really dead.
Oh my! What?
This is gonna be a full-on takeover.
What the hell?
My name is Scott Bash, and I'm taking over the push for today, baby.
What do you mean you're taking over the push? Dude, I'm right here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and now you're right there. Now fucking introduce yourself.
Jesus Christ! All right. What is going on, guys? My name is Joe, aka Cap.
I'm Dom, not Mysterio.
I'm Francis, and God help us all.
And
Alright.
Okay.
And this is the push, ladies and gentlemen, where this week we're not going to have any major stories happening. No, we're going to have topics. We all took a week since our last recording, and we all picked multiple topics, and I'm disappointed because these fuckwads did not do their homework.
What are you talking about, dude? Like, everybody has something they want to talk about. Also, like, I'm not understanding what this taking the show thing is still.
I will be introducing people. I will be telling you to do your topics. I will start with one question, always, because Francis did this before. He made a comment on AEW bashing, and you guys know me. One of my questions is AEW bashing.
What do you mean?
What about it?
What about AEW
well,
bashing?
You're about to find out because they have currently hit a new all-time low.
Like
Oh,
the
God.
band?
Ouch.
Oh god, is this
No,
is this gonna be another
worse.
bashing of Mercedes Monet? Like,
No, this is the bashing of the company and their lack of trying to figure out how to get their fans back watching the bullshit that they play. Because obviously when AEW first came out, they started off strong with 800,000, almost 900,000 viewers. They kept that steady from high 70s to high 800s through 2021. They were in the 900,000s in the million viewer range in 2022. But then everybody knows of the downfall. Multiple wrestlers started big wrestlers started leaving.
Cody.
Controversial topics, controversial
Booking decisions?
situations that happens, booking decisions, backstage issues, and they currently started going down in rankings, and they started going down, honestly, came in the ending of 2022 and 2023, where their 900 viewers went down to 800, and all throughout 2023 they were remaining at 800 viewers. But then 2024 hit, and then they started hitting a record low under 800 viewers. We were currently at the third quarter, and I'm basing this off of Dynamite because that is their most popular show. For the first time in AEW history, I know they love saying that, they hit under 700,000 viewers.
Oh, damn.
shit.
And their year-over-year comparisons, they started off negative from 2021 to 2022. All of 2021, they were in the positive. And then the negative start hit again in quarter 2 of 2022. And now, again, for the first time in AEW history, again, this is only Dynamite, this quarter, negative 22%.
Jesus Christ.
And you can only imagine the other shows because they're obviously a lot worse. I was going off their best show.
Okay. So,
yeah, I would like to hear from you guys about, what do you think the issue is? What aren't they doing?
okay, so I
like
guess
we
I'll
said
take
this.
sorry, Francis. I guess I'll take the floor here because you decided to take over the show to talk about ratings, which is an interesting topic. Everything that's happened this past week, and you want to talk about AEW ratings, and you wanted to talk about it so badly that you held the show hostage, I guess. But sure.
Yeah.
I'll give my 2 cents on it. I mean, the reality is we've talked about it so much on this show already, guys. The booking decisions as of late, the booking decisions have been not the best. They've been pretty bad, actually. A lot of them have been not great, not good, not good. But here is something that I will do that Scott Bash will probably never do, and that's give AEW at least a little bit of credit recently. I have seen a couple of things in the show that I actually consider to be some positives. I think turning MJF heel again, big positive. Big positive.
You kind of have to.
Yeah.
I think that's a big positive, and I think the way he did it, where he gave Daniel Garcia a big case of murder with a pile driver off the second rope. I think that's a big positive. I think you need.
That's right. He hit a Brett's rope pile driver.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Daniel Garcia out for right now with a bit of a case of murder. Seems to be very common in professional wrestling right now. I think
he's not like Chad Gable and healed the next day.
I think the heel turn of Mariah May against Toni Storm last week, where she busted Toni open. I think that's actually pretty interesting. I think the fact that Daniel Bryan Danielson is going to be facing Swerve Strickland for the title, I think, obviously I don't know that they're going to be giving Bryan that, I'm not saying they're going to give him the championship or anything like that, but it's bound to be at least a very good match. And you know what? I go back to MJF for a second. He's going to be fighting Will Ospreay. And you know what? I think regardless of the, obviously very questionable booking decisions that AEW has been making, especially within the past year, I think these are very positive changes that they're making right now. And I really hope to see a continuous trend in this direction, because I think that if they keep doing things like this steadily, absolutely you can bring back those 100K. At least get back into the 800,000s.
Yeah. So here's my thing. All right. You make some really good points, Cap, but I do have the giant elephant in the room here, just kind of staring Tony Khan in the face at the moment. It's bad as a company, not even as a promotion, a wrestling thing. It's obviously mainly a wrestling thing, but just in general, it's bad when free agents in the industry will take less money just to go somewhere else. For example, WWE recently signed, I know this is a little slight topic change, but this is more about AEW. WWE signed Stephanie Vaquer. Vaquer?
You got it right the first time.
It is Vaquer, right? Okay, yeah. I thought... Okay. Signed her about a week ago. She's actually already made her debut on the house show circuit.
Yeah.
Over in Mexico, because they were touring in Mexico last week. So, it's expected that she's going to start up in NXT and maybe make her way to the main roster in the near future. But she has been cited, according to sources, saying that she chose WWE for better booking, more security, and better creative.
I agree with all of that.
Where AEW offered her more money to come to AEW, but chose not to simply because of booking, creative, and just better job security in the long run. Obviously we all know professional wrestlers, they're not you're not working for WWE, you're an independent contractor, you're contracted to WWE. Same thing with AEW, you're not employed but you're contracted to them.
It's like that with like 99% of wrestling.
Yes, exactly. You know, there's no guarantee that you'll have a job tomorrow, just because you signed a contract. But the point is, WWE seems to be the greener pastures that they were when people were trying to leave at one point. You know, everyone wanted to leave and go to AEW, and I think a lot of people, especially those former WWE superstars who left on their own accord, especially, are starting to realize that the grass ain't always greener on the other side.
You know what? I agree with all of those things. That's part of the reason why I found Ricochet's decision to. We're all. And keep in mind, nothing has been set in stone yet. I don't believe. He has not made any appearances yet, and there has not been any teasers yet of him being on AEW. However, I'm going strictly on speculation, but that's a big part of the reason why I was so scared when I heard that he was even considering AEW. You know, despite the now multiple years of proof that he has to work with, that, you know, ex-WWE guys over there, they don't always work out, let's say. They don't always work out.
It's strange. It's because it's like, you know, you could look at Jericho and be like, okay, Jericho was what, the inaugural AEW champion?
Yeah.
He was the inaugural champion, this and that, blah blah blah. But the dude was already a legend. You know, you can't. You know, obviously, I'm not going to take that away from him. At this point, I think he's, you know, he was already set in stone. Like, you know, he's a big name, he's a big draw. It made sense to give him the title at first. But, like, Mox, in my opinion, has been the only former WWE guy to go into AEW and be truly successful.
I mean, yeah, kinda. To be honest,
Daniel Bryan Danielson is still a mid-card guy. He's not going after the main title.
Wait a minute, no, we're completely wrong, because they have a former WWE guy as their champion right now. Swerve.
Who's the champion? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I would say he's been very successful in the sense of he really wasn't being utilized in WWE, but like Ricochet was, in my opinion.
The thing about Ricochet is, and I've noticed this especially in WWE as of late, you know, Triple H is letting guys stick closer to what they're good at. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's look at the SmackDown Tag Team Champions right now, DIY.
Johnny Wrestling and the Psycho Killer.
Yeah, Ciampa and Gargano. Neither one of them, I would say, they're not like horrible on the mic, I guess. But you know, they're not like you're not tuning into WWE. You're not tuning into WWE to hear the latest DIY promo. However, the both of them are fantastic wrestlers. They are fantastic wrestlers. So how do you make this work? Well, you give them less talking segments and you let them do what they are great at.
Yeah.
So
no, I'll agree there. Gargano's promos always come across as kind of awkward, but I gotta give it to Francis Ciampa. When he was bet down in NXT, especially when he was the NXT champion, his promos were fire.
Oh, I'm not saying like his are bad or anything like that. It's just
I get what you're trying.
You got two choices. You got two choices. You got two choices. You could either listen to Ciampa do a promo, or you could hear LA Knight do a promo.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. So those are all great points, guys. Major thing is they kind of shot themselves in the foot and he kind of treated this like a football team, where he tried to grab the best people, tried to create a fantastic team. But then when the WWE decision came, when the decision came in to start actually doing it, you bought way too many WWE former wrestlers, and you failed to use some talent that you brought up personally. You kept worrying about making sure your show was great with WWE talent to be like, oh, we can utilize them the way they can. And now it blew up in your face because when all of them don't want to be there or they've passed their time on championships, it's kind of getting duller. But as the final viewership thing on here, obviously Raw, I'm actually surprised SmackDown does the better ratings by a good margin. I dubbed by Raw. SmackDown averages over 2 million. Raw can't even hit 2 million.
Well, you also have to remember SmackDown is a shorter show on
Fox, right?
prime time Friday night as opposed to Monday night.
It's still on Fox, right?
And on top of that, they
Yes, they are still
also,
currently on Fox. They're moving to USA very soon.
And
although I'll also point out that SmackDown is the show with the guy right now.
Yeah. You have Cody Rhodes. You have the potential for The Rock to show up.
Yeah. And also
Roman Reigns is inevitably coming back.
Randy Orton.
And as the final point here, AEW has 3 TV shows, and the only one that's really doing well against WWE is Dynamite, and they're fighting really close with NXT right now, which they're probably going to start leaving them in the dust as soon as the cross brand starts kicking in better.
Yeah. Especially with Joe Hendry now popping up again.
Constantly now.
It's like every week he's on NXT at this point.
Or
and I want to say the past
3 weeks.
Shut up. The past 3 weeks he's been on NXT programming in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, actually, since we're do you guys have anything more to say on this ratings?
Yeah, I was gonna skip to another topic.
Well, actually, you know what?
Honestly, the long and short of it, they've been on a steady decline, and they really need to fix some shit to get it back up.
I agree completely. However, I also believe that some of the choices they've been making actually do show a bit of a positive turn as well. And actually, you know what?
Yes, I agree.
Since this is just us just taking over the show here from wherever we want, I think I'm going to grab my show back for a second because I want to talk, since we're on the topic of NXT, I want to talk about NXT for a second.
Those one of your topics?
Yes, this is one of my topics, Scott.
Ooh, I can't wait. Yeah, go for it.
So, we've known for a while that NXT and TNA have been doing some collab work recently. It's been giving us some banger matches, actually. I think back to Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace. We have said his name, and he has appeared multiple weeks now. Joe Hendry being in NXT for the past couple of weeks. More importantly, pissing the hell out of Booker T for some reason.
Because Booker T remembers his time in TNA. Every time he looks at Joe Hendry, he's like,
that ain't Joe Hendry's fault. That ain't Joe Hendry's fault. That's all I'm going to say. It doesn't have to be.
He's associated with TNA. He's giving Booker Vietnam flashbacks.
Hey, man, what do you want me to tell you? Anyway, there was something very interesting, though, that I don't know as many people are discussing, but I find this to be a very interesting thing. The Rascals.
With a Z, bitch!
The Rascals are together once again. They have reunited. They were a team in TNA of Wes Lee, Zach Wentz, and Trev Martin. And I personally was always a fan of these guys. I think all 3 of them are incredibly exciting. However, they had to split up when Zach and Wes came over to TNA. Not TNA. When they came over to NXT, Trev stayed in Trev Miguel, my bad. Trev Miguel stayed in TNA. And so I was actually quite sad when this team split up. But they are back now. The three of them are back together as of last week. And actually this week ended up picking up a victory over Gallus, of all teams. With Joe Hendry as commentary, of course. But...
He inspired them.
However, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this because I find this especially interesting because as it stands right now, these guys still technically, despite the fact that they're back together, and I'm glad they're back together, these guys still work for different companies.
Yeah.
You know, the other,
Always
Wesley
goes by.
is still in NXT. He's still in NXT, he's still a WWE wrestler. Trey and Zach are not. They still belong to TNA. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because, as far as I understand, I don't remember there being really a time where a team has existed with guys of different companies being involved in it.
Well, Cap, if you don't mind me grabbing the floor for a change, it's almost like the two different promotions have a working relationship or something.
I can't. You finally decide to open your mouth and talk about a subject, and that's what comes out.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Yes, but you don't fucking talk in conversations, and now you're like being a smartass. Your first time doing it in like weeks.
And also, like, it's like the most milquetoast line I've ever heard. Like,
You're the most milquetoast dude I've ever
Dom.
met.
Okay, since Francis failed to give any intellectual conversations on that topic, it's kind of I could be wrong. I'm going off because I've been failing as a wrestling commentator or whatever it's called. It's they were from separate brands, or they were from the same brand, went to NXT, and all of a sudden became a tag team.
No, so originally all three of them were on TNA.
Yeah.
Two of them split up to go to NXT, so the team had to split.
Yeah.
Trey
But now
stayed in
with
TNA.
TNA
Wentz and Wes went to NXT. The storyline was actually very interesting because Wentz was involved in some serious allegations from his wife a few years back and was actually let go from NXT because of said allegations. Allegations that proved to be false, by the way. So Wentz went back to TNA, joined up with Trey again, and now the three of them are back together in NXT at least.
So yeah, thanks to the NXT TNA crossover.
Okay, then I got a little something for that. Then, well, definitely good to know that WWE is going to utilize storylines from their brand and combine it and be like, we were, this happened that there. We finally got together. We're back together again.
Oh yeah, because under Vince, you would never have that.
Yeah.
Under Vince, none of this
great.
would be happening.
It's great because I feel like the only way to make this a successful crossover brand is to have people win a title from opposite brands. And it could be really interesting seeing maybe an NXT TNA tag team and the brand, and say they win the NXT tag team titles. They can go back and forth to TNA brand. They can show and have more people, because there could be people that watch TNA that don't watch WWE, and so they'll be able to learn from what the other show's doing of what their tag is, and get the view of other wrestlers.
No, that's definitely a really good idea, because you could take that in with which way you can have. WWE guys winning a TNA title, or vice versa, TNA winning a WWE, and it doesn't have to be just tags. Like, you could have Joe Hendry win the NXT championship,
Which is a very real possibility.
Which should be.
with
Which absolutely should be.
the pop that he gets. I don't think there's a single person.
I feel it. Let's be real, fellas. That's going to be the end goal here.
That has to
Oh,
be
yeah.
a
Like-
goal here. Absolutely.
Yes, but like you look at it, right? Because NXT, obviously, as we all know, for most of us know at least, NXT always films at Full Sail University.
Yes.
So they don't move, except for pay-per-views. But when Joe Hendry shows up, there is not a single person in fucking that entire arena at Full Sail University that isn't singing and clapping
And
for
waving
Joe
their
Hendry.
hand.
Yeah, no. Maybe
Like,
that's
it is nuts. The dude gets the biggest pop I've ever heard from NXT, and I'm talking about bigger than Cody.
I actually
Yeah,
think it's quite
I was
interesting.
gonna-
Do you think that might be the reason why, certain guys like Booker are so upset that Joe is here? Because realistically, when you look at it, Joe Hendry is more over than I'm gonna be generous here and say at least 95% of the NXT locker room.
Well, part of the reason
95, 98.
Well, part of the reason that Joe Hendry is so over is, obviously the memes, but also because the dude absolutely bleeds charisma and is,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a phenomenal wrestler, and then yes, apparently the key to getting over in the professional wrestling business is just become a meme.
It works.
It works.
But that was going to be my next point. If it works, it works. Like, I'm not mad about it. Like, trust me, I didn't know who Joe Hendry was until the fucking meme. So, what does that say?
The memes, Jack.
Yeah, definitely probably one of the biggest pops in the last 5 years. I've never.
Easy.
I can
For
only.
NXT, 100%.
That's why I liked you mentioned
Especially
the
the
fact
first
that everybody's. That's why I like the fact that you were mentioning everybody, singing it. Because if you're going to sing it in a small, it's not necessarily small, but for NXT, for WWE standards, NXT's crowd small. But I would love to hear it. Just imagine during a pay-per-view in a football stadium where there's triple the amount of people. I feel like people from another city can probably hear that theme song hit when it happens.
People all across the
Well,
world.
if they have Hendry show up at like the Rumble,
Which I guarantee is going to happen.
Has to.
he has to.
It has to. Yeah.
That pop would be surreal.
Imagine hearing that in a baseball stadium. Just an entire,
Yeah.
just singing "I Believe in Joe Hendry."
So let me ask you guys this. So let me ask you guys this question with the undeniable popularity that is Joe Hendry. How long do you guys think before WWE is just like, you know what, fuck it, we need this guy for ourselves?
Well, you and I have actually talked about that in the past, Cap, and seeing as how WWE is under new management and have been for a while now, that management being Triple H, I feel like that they're going to let Joe Hendry foster more of his talent, do all the stuff he wants to do in TNA, do whatever they want him to do over in NXT and finish that, tie all that up with a neat little bow. And then, and only then, when the stars align and the fucking water is at its most perfect temperature, he will arise and save us all.
Thus say his name. And
Oh,
he'll
are we
appear.
still talking about Joe Hendry, or are we talking about fucking Cthulhu?
Nah,
Yeah, Princess, you took way too long for 3 words. But as soon as his contract ends, he's gonna sign with WWE. He cannot be staying. He's way too popular. Even for the cross brand, he's way too popular for it. He needs to be in the biggest stage because he's gonna hit #1. Everything in him is gonna be #1. His sales, his downloaded music, everything. WWE needs him quick.
So let me
Here's my
ask.
thing, right?
So let me rephrase. I'm sorry, and I'll let you go right after this, Dom. Before I ask, but I need Scott. Let me ask you this question. Being gracious here. How much longer before Triple H is given this man a contract?
Well, Scott already said as soon as his
As soon as it
contract
ends.
is up.
He's probably gonna get contact from Triple H saying, "I want you on the main roster. I'm being the main roster, but we can utilize you so much."
probably
Yeah,
won't
that was
even
gonna be
need to
my
do
point.
NXT because he's already doing it right now alongside TNA.
Exactly.
Guys,
That's
you're
my
also-
thing. As long as NXT and TNA are doing this crossover, situation, I think Joe Hendry will stay safely in TNA. But like Scott said earlier, the second that TNA contract expires, Triple H will be kicking this dude's door in to be like, we need you in the WWE. You know, because I mean, come on, the dude is, like I said, I think he's more over than Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
He's more
I'd
over.
say so.
I've said this
over
multiple
babyface in
times. He is
wrestling
the
right
most over man in professional wrestling, period, right now. He is
Exactly.
the most
I think
over
the
man,
only person
period.
that would get a bigger pop than him right now, and the only reason I think he's more over than Cody is because Cody is now champion. We see him every week. You know, it's not, we expect to see Cody every week, so the pop isn't as big. Like, obviously everyone still go, what? Oh, you know, whatever. Fucking, but like, you have Joe Hendry who could show up fucking anywhere and anywhere. So to have him pop up on the main roster, he would 100% get a big pop. I think the only person in my mind at this very moment that would get a bigger pop than Joe Hendry is Roman Reigns.
And even
But like
then, it's a
babyface
question.
Roman Reigns.
Simply for the return aspect of it.
Cap, if you don't mind me switching over to another topic of mine, because Dom it helps, we can kind of move over to the next topic.
Did I accidentally transition?
You
Yes, you
might
did.
transition because you mentioned his popularity, and Pat, if you don't mind, you can go back to somebody else, but I feel like it would be a good cross.
No, go for it. Go. Segue.
So you mentioned the popularity. We've been mentioning the popularity of Joe Hendry for like 5 minutes, and to be honest, this is the perfect example, and I'll switch it over to the question I have. There's only one person that I feel like could challenge him on his most popularity, but on the opposite side of the table, and that's Dom Mysterio.
Heat?
Heat.
Oh,
boy.
No, Scott, I know exactly what you're going for. The most over babyface versus the most hated heel.
Heated heel.
He
No,
is
that's
hated.
not my question. My topic is, because we also talked about LA Knight getting hit
Yeah.
with pulling the trigger, have them have a title shot, bring that title to him. And my wonder is, when are they going to pull the trigger on Dom? Because the level of heat that he brings, there is no reason why he's had the North American title, but there's no reason why he shouldn't have a solo run title.
I honestly, well, that was a solo run title, but
Well, yeah, but that was an NXT title. I want to see him have a
Main roster title.
main roster
I mean,
title.
I can
So when
I
will they
can
pull the
see-
trigger on him?
honestly with Rhea back, I want to say very soon, depending on how SummerSlam goes.
He probably has to leave behind Rhea in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I don't know. Because here's my thing, right? Let's say this goes the way I kind of see it going, right?
Yes.
We have Rhea versus Liv at SummerSlam. Rhea wins her title back. At least that's the way I see it. Because I can't imagine Liv, unless Dom turns on Rhea and helps Liv win. Meh. I don't
But
see it.
that was also my 2-part question. Was also added in this topic is who will be?
So,
We can talk about both if you wanted to.
so I can
It
give.
really depends on what they want to do with the Judgment Day, in my opinion.
So,
Because like, if they want to tear up the Judgment Day, they could have Dom side with Liv. He leaves the Judgment Day. Then you have Finn and JD turn on Damian, and this and that.
Judgment Day,
And,
Civil War.
Not even Judgment Day Civil War. They just all hell breaks loose and they all go their separate ways. So Damian goes solo. You know, JD and Finn kind of go off and do their own thing because Rhea is over as fuck. There's no denying that. So she could very easily turn babyface.
yeah.
And what is the easiest way right now, given the situation, to turn her babyface? Have Dom leave her.
Who seems, to be honest, during Raw, it seems like Liv.
Yeah,
has
he was
been
about
more
to
Dom.
fold.
Yeah.
he was full. That man was thinking about it for a second.
he was this close. The cards were on the table.
He was like,
we just had to
hold
slide
on now.
forward." But so
He was looking up at Liv like, oh, hold on a minute.
Yeah,
Let's think
he
about
could
this.
very easily betray Rhea, help Liv win her title, like keep the title, and then like they could have Liv, help him win like the IC title or something, or the United States Championship, because maybe they run away to SmackDown, so they don't have to fight Gunther.
I'm gonna step in here for a second because here's my honest answer. We talked about this a little bit earlier on in the week. We were talking about Logan versus LA Knight for the US title, and I objectively believe that in a match between those two, I believe that the correct answer is LA Knight.
Yeah.
However, in a match between Dominic Mysterio and Sami Zayn for the IC title, I believe that Dominic is the objectively correct answer to win that match and to win that
Especially
title.
if you have him go over dirty.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
I think that if that match is to happen, I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know
Honestly,
because they haven't
I
even
don't
really
think-
thought about it yet.
I
But
don't think that would happen because Gunther's going to take that title away from Sami Zayn. at
Gunther, no.
don't think,
Gunther is
there's
world
a-
champion.
Braun, not Gunther.
Come SummerSlam.
Oh wow, I'm fucking stupid.
I was like, wait a minute.
The wrong fucking pay-per-view.
No,
at this
this
Jesus.
point.
was expecting you too. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Like what? I was wondering what the hell are you talking about? Like,
Sorry, Gunther's gonna beat Damian Priest.
yes, unequivocally.
Excuse me. I'm
Um,
operating on about 4 hours sleep and I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
I
Christ, man.
apologize.
But yes, continue.
But anyway, listen, it hasn't been suggested yet that Dominic and Sammy would be is a rivalry. I don't think the two have interacted for a very long time now. However, if the two were to meet up, and I do believe that after SummerSlam, once we start to see, the blowout of, after we see the results of SummerSlam, where I
Yeah,
do
'cause
think
that's
that
the
the
real-
Judgment Day is going to be breaking up, because there's too much going on right now. Rhea and Dom are fighting. Finn keeps being sneaky on the side. Carlito is just there, and nobody really understands why Carlito's
Carlito
there.
just exists.
Carlito just
Yeah.
sort of exists
Carlito
with them
is
right
so
now.
replaceable. I'm pretty sure half of our viewers just remembered. Oh yeah, he's doing his thing with them.
Yeah, half of
You
our
know,
viewership
fairness-
just remembered that. Oh yeah, Carlito is with them. Like,
I'm not gonna lie though, on Raw, having Rhea like in the Judgment Day clubhouse and her be like, "Why is Carlito here?"
How long was I gone?
That shit was too funny to me. And then having Carlito go up to Dom at the end of the show. I think it was like towards the end of the show
Yeah, the second
and
time.
everything. And he's like, "Man, that's not cool." I was like, "Ah, I said the thing."
I was
but
waiting.
that's kind of
first
the
time
only
they
reason
gave me-
why he's there, so he can tell people what is cool and what is not cool.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, I mean, what else is Carlito for?
that's
that's
true.
all we wanted him back for.
He's
really,
Carlito.
to be honest.
He spits in the
He likes
face
apples
of
at
people who are not
Yeah.
cool.
In which he couldn't really do that because COVID was a big thing when he was like
I'm
starting back around.
really upset that he doesn't do it anymore.
Don't
I don't know
worry.
why.
Don't worry. Once they hit Netflix, man, he's gonna be spitting so many apples it ain't even gonna be funny.
Bro, he ain't spitting apples.
Giggity.
Well, all right.
Alright.
Cap, did you have another topic, or was that it? Was Braun Breaker?
Actually, I want to go back to NXT for a second. There's a lot of shit going on in NXT because I also saw that in addition to them signing Stephanie Vaquer, I believe it's been told that Julia will be coming back soon. Julia, another. As you can hear from Francis's excitement, folks, for anybody who doesn't know, Julia,
Sorry, I think I squeed.
you did, loudly.
Squeed.
It was caught on the recording, Francis.
I thought it.
Nope.
I'm just gonna stop talking
Nope.
now.
Yeah, that's
Thank
a good
God.
idea. But yes, Julia, who very famous women's wrestler over in New Japan, hence the reason why Francis is so excited, was supposed to be making her NXT debut sometime, I want to say late last year. However, did not work out because of an injury. She has been on the shelf for a number of months. However, recently it has been reported that she has been cleared. So the possibility of Julia coming back to NXT or making her debut in NXT alongside of Miss Vaquer is very likely and may be happening very soon.
Can I add to that?
Go right ahead.
Also, as you guys know, I follow Nikita Lyons on WWE on Instagram,
Oh, I wonder why.
and she did post on there that she will be coming back. She will be coming. I don't know when, but she said, she was on vacation. I think she's going to start coming back into the frame.
I actually
But
did,
yeah, to go with Julia as
so
well.
I actually did not know about that. So anyway, for people who still don't really have that firm of a concept on Julia specifically, let's turn it over to our residential weeb, Francis Harrison, who will behave himself during this segment as he tells you all about Julia. Francis, what can you tell us about Julia?
Goddess. Sorry. Let me restrain myself.
Could not even last a second. Got it.
Don't say it like that, man.
You're the one that squeed in the middle of the show, asshole.
But real talk, though, I bet this is going to come to a surprise to some of you. She's actually half Italian, half Japanese.
Yes, I did read that. I was aware that was her upbringing.
Well, not a lot of guys do that. But, God. As, I don't know if I brought this up in my previous New Japan retrospectives, but New Japan's women's division is all basically Stardom on loan, of which she is a multiple Stardom champion. And here's the thing, me calling her a goddess wasn't me being a simp, even though it was, but Stardom has a title called the Stardom Goddess Champion, basically one of their lower mid-card titles, so I was technically right in one specific instance of my unfettered simpitude.
I'm assuming she's a former champion?
Oh, she's a multiple-time champion. She's won multiple titles in Stardom. She was Stardom World Champion a few times. And she tagged with someone. I almost said Miss Fakir, but that's not true. I got all my former Japanese Latinas mixed up, and I apologize profusely for that. But Julia's very much the real deal. I can't wait to see her back in action.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cap, you wanted to say something?
Well, no, I'm
continue.
happy to see these moves that are happening down there in NXT, and I'm really appreciating the fact that they are stacking their women's division right now, man. They are stacking it with some talent right now. Vaquer, obviously
definitely.
very successful. Julia, very successful. Roxanne Perez, been really enjoying this title run. You look at some of the more mid card, because the NXT has a women's mid card title. You look at their current champion, Kaden something. I'm blanking on the name for a minute. I apologize for that, but I'm a fan of her work as well. I am a fan of Nikita Lyons. She is an incredibly talented woman down there. Do believe she is perfect.
Not successful, but not successful currently. But she is popular, very popular.
Yep, very popular with the crowd. Very talented person, very talented wrestler down there. They are the women's division down in NXT specifically are fucking thriving right now. and it's a beautiful thing to see, man. I'm very happy to see what's going on down there.
And so I know, being the psychic that I am, I know one of Dom's questions. So I want him to be last because it's a major question. So I will.
It's not really a question.
Oh, or a topic, or your topics. One of your topics I know because
questions.
I don't know why either. But
I do have a question though, which I do want to bring up real quick.
What's up?
So, today it has been announced that we have our first operator on the Call of Duty crossover with WWE. Nobody's fucking surprised it was Rhea Ripley.
Really?
So, Rhea Ripley is one of the three operators coming to Call of Duty with their new crossover event with the WWE. We have not, at least I haven't heard of the other two as of yet.
I probably know one of them.
What I've seen in the announcement today was Rhea Ripley is the new operator, and the new finishing move is the Crossroads. With that, I'm assuming since the Crossroads is like the finisher, like when you stealth kill someone from behind. Since the Crossroads is in the game, I'm assuming Cody Rhodes is going to be one of the other operators.
I mean, he kind of has to be.
But that still leaves the third one open.
So
watch it be Joe Hendry.
Okay, so
that would be hilarious. Joe Hendry.
It's going to be Roman.
I don't think so. It could be Roman.
I was thinking Roman at first, but then my wife Chrissy brought up a really good point today. Who just announced their retirement tour?
Next
year.
Oh wow, yeah.
Who is arguably the most recognizable professional wrestler of all time?
It's John.
Hulk Hogan?
John Cena, you fucking dick.
Okay, John Cena.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan's recognizable.
Okay, but
I know you go. Go first.
Okay.
So, who do you guys think is going to be that third operator?
Well, you said that. Now that you said John and he's bringing up his retirement tour, it probably is going to be him. I can't imagine it anyone else. But if I had to, maybe LA Knight. LA Knight's been getting a lot of cross-promotional advertising lately. You know, he succeeded Macho Man Randy Savage as the Slim Jim guy.
True, kind of passing that torch, and I think.
Yeah.
I think obviously for good reason. Go ahead, Scott.
I think it's going to be Roman, and just because he is the most popular one currently, like I know he's not on the roster right now, but he currently was just the number one guy. Another reason why I think so is I'm not sure if he is in this game because I play this game. John Cena is on Fortnite, so I don't know if COD. I don't know two things. I don't know if COD's gonna be allowed to have John Cena because he's on Fortnite because it's a rival area.
But WWE still retains the right, so they could do what they like with his image.
Yeah, that also is a big thing. And I feel like John Cena wouldn't be as good for the game because he wears some bright ass colors, and Roman Reigns an all dark outfit.
Yeah, we're also, now that I literally just thought of this, we're also missing one other person that's a very good possibility.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm about to mention
another of the Samoan dynasty.
It could very well possibly be The Rock as well. However, okay, so you're all about to yell at me for a second, but I'm going to be very honest for a minute. I have not really played Call of Duty in my life. So I'm going to ask the question, what is an operator?
The last
like 5 years.
Oh, okay. Alright, so he's essentially...
Your operator is like the character, your avatar.
Oh, okay. Alright, cool.
Yeah, so perspective, it's like when Gears of War let you play.
Okay, yeah, no, I got that. Alright, so, all of you guys I'm pretty sure it could be any of these people. It could be Roman. It could be Cody. Could absolutely very well be John Cena if they can get the rights to him. I'm going to throw I'm going to throw actually two more names into the hat. One of which being Randy Orton, of course. Specifically because we talk about memes with Joe. How many times has the meme of the RKO out of nowhere?
Yeah, that could be a fucking finish thing.
Like seriously, the RKO out of nowhere was a very popular meme. I still think it is in some cases, but I could just be old. And another one, I don't know how likely this is just because I don't know his history with the game, to be honest with you. Oh, also Randy makes sense because he's also been in the military.
That's a little bit of a sour past for them.
Okay, alright, cool. Gonna have to...
He did go AWOL.
Oh god, okay.
Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you?
Did, highly, yes.
And Call of Duty does work hand in hand with the United States Army. So.
Okay, cool.
It's not going to be Randy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, then we could just say fuck that to all of this. He is not. With that being said, though, my second option would be Logan. Simply because of his more mainstream. I mean, regardless of how I feel about him, the man does have mainstream appeal, and if that is the goal here,
I think if I were working for Call of Duty, I wouldn't want heels.
Well, in that case, I have a suggestion that I'm surprised none of us brought up. Punk.
I just said I wouldn't want heels, and controversial.
Okay.
I mean, that would be probably people would buy it anyway, but still.
What about Undertaker
then? Didn't think of.
I literally just said the name
right out of my mouth.
That was my thought too. Undertaker.
Quite literally, Undertaker.
Especially because I've seen pictures of what his avatar would be.
Deadman.
Yeah, the old fans do a lot of those
customization.
You mean the quite literal American badass?
Nah,
they would 100% do the Deadman. They wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, unless they did multiple skins of the Undertaker, which is also a possibility.
Oh my god! A video game doing multiple skins of one character. Never. I've never heard that in my life. Call of Duty
really doesn't do that much. The only one I know of that they did, and I remember I went absolutely batshit crazy for it. They did a deal with Jack Lakes, where one of the operators can get a Bigfoot ghillie suit. And I went nuts trying to find the fucking Jack Lakes packages with all the tags on it, so I can get all the stuff for it, because you needed 5 tags to get it, because it was you got double XP, double weapon XP, a gun skin, a gun emblem, and then the last one was the ghillie suit. And I was like, I want that fucking ghillie suit. I still have that ghillie suit. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously there's so many options because we have so many great wrestlers now.
Triple H also just another option.
I will hit.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless Cap has another topic, I would like to hit off with the topic that happened just recently. It happened recently. The promo happened recently. But if you don't have anything recent happen,
I'm pretty much tapped out.
All right. Well, as for those of you who have seen Monday of what happened, we might have just seen one of the greatest promos in the era of Triple H. And is the promo between Gunther and Priest just the beginning of what we could see in 2025? And what feud would you like to see when it does hit Netflix?
Oh, Scotty, you talking about the promo where Gunther told Damian Priest that his father never loved him?
And that he called him street trash?
Yeah, to give clarity, Gunther delivered probably one of the most brutal promos that I have heard in a very long time. basically calling Damien street trash, number one. Saying, I'm sorry your parents didn't love you enough to give you a good life. Jesus Christ, by the way.
Yeah, now we get to watch the goth kids fight the Hydra agents.
And,
not only that, Damien Priest was also shooting some fire promos at him.
he called him a douchebag.
He also called him a scumbag.
Like, he called him a scumbag. Which, to be fair,
I mean,
he kind of was.
Gunther said to him,
Like, you know, to be completely honest here, not too far from the truth. So you're asking us what, so essentially what you're asking is what rivalry do we want to see once we hit the Netflix era?
Yes, when they have full control over their mouth, what two would you love to see in the ring and just hash it out?
Okay, super easy. I want to see Braun Breaker versus Gunther too.
Oh,
And as a promo too, and seeing them in the
Absolutely.
promo, and just seeing two behemoths.
Absolutely.
I want to see Breaker do some Steiner math.
yes! He alluded to it in NXT.
I know he has.
Yeah. Braun Breaker does some good promos. So that will definitely be something to see.
Nah, listen, Braun has all the charisma of his uncle and all the fighting capabilities of his father.
And
So-
also his uncle.
And also his uncle. Actually, are we positive this isn't Scott's kid? Like,
He's a Steiner. Their genetics are fucked either way, man.
He's a genetic freak,
And
he's not normal.
this guy is, you know, this guy is once you loosen the reins on him,
It's over.
it's over,
going to
and
call
they
himself-
already plan on, and you know, Triple H has said it a couple of times. A couple of people within the company have said this already a couple of times. Once they hit Netflix, they really want Braun to be. I don't know if he's going to be the guy, but he is going to be definitely a guy.
A major player.
He is going to be a
call
guy,
himself
definitely.
The second coming of the big bad booty daddy, and it's going to be fucking hilarious.
And then you
You
know,
know what I
Braun-
want to see? What I want to see when we move into the Netflix era, I want to see Triple H and Shawn Michaels back up on that podium, cutting a promo on all the things they can say now.
They do a callback. They do a callback.
that would be funny as hell.
Yeah, the DX State of the Union address with all the words they couldn't say on national
Triple H
television.
is big on callbacks too, so
That's what
man.
I'm saying. That would
That
be
was
so fucking
We
fun.
can now
You know-
say the word shit, fuck, like all that.
Yeah,
they could just go
essentially
over
just do
basically
the George Carlin 7 words, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, I'm perfectly fine with this promo as long as it starts with, "Oh, by the way, we won."
Yeah. No, that would be phenomenal.
Do they?
I have a promo. I have a duo for you guys. They work together, but I don't know if I've ever really seen them in a promo battle together. And they're probably the two best promo guys in the business. I would like to see Punk and Miz on the mics against each other, especially the Miz just being able to hear him go off without a
Yeah,
The
without
censor
being
on him?
censored.
Wait, guys. Punk and LA Knight.
Yes,
Ooh.
Punk and LA Knight would be a very good
See,
one.
but this is what I like about LA Knight though. He doesn't need to be like vulgar or like dark with his
No.
promos to get like a good pop because he's like very much like he cuts promos like a 90s guy,
Yeah.
which is great
sure.
because it's so, but it works.
Well, here's the big thing that I don't think people consider, specifically when it comes to, specifically when it comes to this, when it comes to this jump. I'm just gonna give my opinion here. Explicit doesn't automatically mean good. People, I'm just gonna say that. Just because you throw some curse words out there, that doesn't mean the promo is gonna be good. A lot of The Rock or Stone Cold or Triple H or any other popular, pick any other guy that was popular in the Attitude Era. their promos weren't good because they were cursing through them.
No.
The promos were good because these guys were captivating storytellers. That's the big thing. They have the charisma for it. And I absolutely agree with Dom, to be honest with you. LA Knight is so captivating. The man could just get on a Netflix show, could just get on the Netflix program of Raw, and he could sit there and read the phone book, and people would listen. Like,
oh yeah.
So
all I'm saying is he can just keep doing what he's doing now, and he'll be perfectly fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, my thing on it is, you do have a great point, Cap, but there's one little thing that I won't help major, but it could help a little thing that's an issue in WWE that could make it into a big bonus, is the fact that you can kind of pick out the awkward moments because they're limited with the vocabulary, and that they sometimes the promos that they cut put themselves in an awkward situation because it's like, well, you know, if I was saying this in person, I would be able to say this word, but now I got to kind of tone it down because I can't say it on TV, so it's going to come out weird. Like we witnessed it a lot, not recently with Triple H, but you can still pick a few.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Although I don't know because we just. Although I don't know because we just had a promo set. This whole thing started because we had a promo segment where Gunther told Damien his parents didn't love him enough to give him a good life. Not a single curse word found there, but still, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, because then you're gonna have like someone like Punk be able to just tell people to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Netflix move is going to be very interesting because, as we all know, Raw is moving to Netflix next year. I believe SmackDown moves to USA, back to USA Network at the close to the end of this year.
Yes.
And I can only assume that when the deal with USA and SmackDown is over, they'll probably also be moving SmackDown to NXT.
Probably.
I mean, NXT.
To Netflix.
To Netflix.
To be fair, Netflix does have the letters NXT. So
shut your fucking face, Francis. I know he's not. Shut up. Moving SmackDown to Netflix, depending on how well this move goes, I can't imagine neither the WWE or Netflix making a metric fuck ton of money out of this.
Oh, they're both going
I can't
to
imagine
walk
that
out
they
of
don't
this.
make a shit ton of money, is what I'm saying.
Oh no, they're both going to be rich beyond their wildest dreams, but they're already both rich beyond their wildest dreams. So
yeah, I mean, this is more than positive, because now you get you get a WWE run by Triple H that's allowed to be edgy and allowed to be uncensored and allowed to do basically anything that they want short of murder. And even then they might push it. Which would, like, seeing the stuff that's on Netflix, like, you got shows like Big Mouth and on there.
Okay.
If that can be on Netflix and as one of the most popular shows on Netflix, WWE would be just fine.
Wait, hold on, pause. That's one of the most popular shows on Netflix right now?
Unfortunately,
not right this second, but whenever they come out with new seasons, it's always one of the top stream shows.
It doesn't make Stranger Things numbers, I think.
Okay.
No, it doesn't hit like Stranger Things money, but like it's always like when they drop new seasons, it sits at like the top 10 most streamed for like a couple weeks.
That's that is nauseating, but okay.
I mean, yeah. So if that's allowed to and constantly gets renewed for new seasons and they got a spin-off, WWE, no matter what WWE does, they'll be fine. So it's more just learning how live TV is going to work on a streaming service as opposed to national television.
Are pay-per-views still going to be on Peacock?
Yes. From what I've read, at least for the foreseeable future, until the deal with Peacock is done, and then there's going to be decisions that need to be made. I wouldn't be shocked if over the next couple of years, everything just slowly moves on to Netflix. Since we no longer have the WWE Network as its own entity, everything belongs to Peacock right now, unless you live overseas or in Canada and Mexico.
Depending on your VPN.
That as well, but there's no service for the app in the United States. If you live in the UK, obviously you still have the WWE Network. But for here in the States, it's Peacock.
All right, so
I think when that deal with Peacock is done, they'll probably move all that over to Netflix as well. I'm assuming, as long as Netflix is willing to shell out the money for it. Otherwise, maybe they stay on Peacock. I don't know.
All right, so let me ask y'all the question. Once they hit Netflix, how long do you think there is before we get the live sex celebration between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan?
And you ruined it.
Yeah, there we go. Listen. There's a group of people that let's not sit here and pretend that there's not an audience that would absolutely want to see some shit like that. I am not one of them. I hope to God they never do that again. I thought the Edge and Lita one was incredibly cringe. What?
Liar.
You want to sit there and call me a liar,
Okay.
fine, but like...
Okay, well, we can continue denying the fact that Cap doesn't want to see Rhea with a lot less clothing on, and we'll move on to with Francis and his topics.
I was actually glad you brought that up. Thank you, Scott. Speaking of blasts from the past, not too long ago, WWE announced that they're bringing back an oldie but a goodie. Bad Blood is making its triumphant return.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah,
we did
but
mention this for a brief moment last week, which you should check out on YouTube.
Thank you for the
I
plug.
believe we also made a TikTok about it.
We did also make a TikTok about it. Did we? No, we made an Instagram post. Either way, you should be following both. The Push Wrestling.
I made a TikTok about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I think we did both because it was really popular.
I'm just sleep deprived. I'm not crazy.
All right, well,
Bad
either
Blood,
or, you should be
very-
following both of us on TikTok and Instagram.
And now that we're done plugging ourselves, Bad Blood, very popular pay-per-view. Don't plug yourself, Pete. Very popular pay-per-view. First ever Hell in a Cell happened on that show. Debut of Kane happened on that show. Both in the same show, mind you.
On the same day.
On the same night.
On the
First
same
Hell in a Cell
night.
match. First Cell match. First appearance of Kane. Holy hell.
Same exact segment, too.
Yeah. Deadman was about to pin HBK, then Kane showed up and killed everyone.
Oh, God. But yes, Bad Blood is
This,
coming
by the
back.
way, still like top 3 debuts of all time. Just saying that.
Just the FYI, I'm done with my topics. I deleted them.
Oh, okay.
My question on to you, fine gentlemen, is this. What other classic pay-per-views would you like to see be brought back by Big Dub?
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
Really good question.
That is a fantastic question. I can't honestly think of a pay-per-view per se, but I would love to see the return of like the individual sets for each pay-per-view.
Like how SummerSlam
Yeah.
had the surfboards and the old...
Yeah, like SummerSlam had the beach theme
And
and the big S logo,
the interlocked S
and then
logo,
like Bad Blood. How he's had like the blood drops on the stage and this and that, like the big LED blood
Armageddon
drops.
was always
Oh my
crazy.
God.
the world.
Yeah,
I think-
like that,
no.
like I want to see shit like that again. Like, I
No,
miss that.
no. I just thought of the perfect fucking pay-per-view. Oh my god, because they tried this pay-per-view multiple times. I've always thought it was a great idea for a pay-per-view, but they tried it multiple times, multiple different names. I would like to see Taboo Tuesday. Either have
Taboo
the-
Tuesday. Yeah.
have the you can
forgot about that.
you can name it something different because there was different names, and so you don't have to be stuck on making it a Tuesday pay-per-view. But like
Yeah.
having the fans have a chance to do
Oh my
the
God.
match and
Wait,
the day of the
Wait.
pay-per-view, like come on, like
that would be.
That would actually be
Hear me
pretty
out.
fire.
What if they do something like that, right? They throw it in November, because it's like election. They do it election day weekend, and they do like some fucking like base it on like the politics of fucking election day.
We bring
That
back
should be funny as
capital
fuck.
punishment. They bring back capital punishment and do exactly that.
That would be funny.
That's the gimmick.
That would be funny.
That would be funny. Actually, I would like. I know NXT does it, but fucking Halloween Havoc.
I was going to say Halloween Havoc.
Halloween
and I'm
Havoc was
glad you
fun.
brought that up. And Dom, speaking on like the subject of sets, you've seen like the old WCW Halloween Havoc sets, right?
Yeah.
With the giant tombstone, Titantron.
Yeah. Everything is like corny Halloween shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I love
I
that.
want to see a WWE take on that.
I think that would be fun.
White
I think
themed.
that'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
Wyatt themed.
I'll tell you what.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They could
the
center-
Wyatts would 100% take it over.
They could center the whole thing around the Wyatt Six.
Actually, I'll tell you one. Just because I kind of have like fond memories of this pay-per-view, and I don't know why they ever stopped it. I kind of want to see Cyber Sunday come back.
Well, Cyber Sunday was a lot like Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, that was one of the
I think
rebrands of it.
I think that was the original name or something. I'm not
No,
sure.
Taboo
No, I
Tuesday
think
came first.
no. Taboo Tuesday was the first. Cyber Sunday was like the
Alright.
second attempt at it. But it's just
Yeah.
like I understand like why they stopped doing it, because it's like you would have people booking matches like fucking Hornswoggle versus fucking Braun Breaker right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they would. But like, if the
Nah,
fans are
You
voting
would give
on
them
it,
options.
like,
You would obviously give
No,
them
yeah.
options. Yeah.
you know,
you say here, pick one from column A, one from column B, kind of shit. No, I get
yeah,
that.
you can
Yeah.
literally make an entire card just based off of like Twitter polls or some shit like that.
Yeah, that would be. That would
Yes,
be very
I'm still
interesting.
calling it Twitter, by the way.
So do
Oh
I.
yeah, fuck that. I still call it Twitter.
Nobody calls it X.
Speaking of which, we don't have a Twitter,
There's a
so don't
sense
find
of
us
pride.
there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna,
Yeah,
and you're not
you
gonna
don't have
find us on
Twitter
X
yet.
That was
right now.
great. That was great. That caught me off guard.
What?
I broke Scott a little bit with we don't have Twitter, so don't find us.
Yeah, we don't have one of those. Fuck you, Elon.
No.
But yeah, if all is said and done, I would love to end the show with my little fun fact that I have here.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, let's go, Dom.
So, as we saw last week on Raw, or actually, excuse me, this week on Raw, 2 days ago, we finally had the in-ring debut. No, maybe not a debut, but the first in-ring appearance of Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six.
I had a feeling you'd be the one talking about this.
No. Like, yes, that is a great moment, but the main thing that I want to talk about has less to do with the actual in-ring return, but the circumstances surrounding it. So, at the time of recording, it is currently July 17th. Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six made their initial in-ring debut on July 15th, 2024. Now, the whole reason I bring this up is The Fiend's, Bray Wyatt as The Fiend, his in-ring debut was July 15th, 2020.
I thought it was 2019. I thought it was.
No, that was the first time. That's the first time we saw The Fiend.
Oh, okay.
That was the first image of The Fiend. His initial in-ring debut
It's interesting.
was on July 15th. Now, what kind of tickled my brain about this one is like just the fact that the dates lined up like that made me kind of chuckle a little bit. That they're both Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt would have the same date, just simply 4 years apart, to debut their characters in the ring. Do we think this was intentional by WWE seeing the date coming up, realizing it lines up with a Monday Night Raw and says, hey, we have to do something?
Absolutely.
Or was this simply a happy accident?
Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, this was intended. We know that specifically with Bray, the man was big on Easter eggs. So
Yes.
I 100% believe that this was intentional. So I'm gonna let the other people answer the other two answer your question, but I want to put a question on top of that because I wanted to get your thoughts on before that happened. We had an interview with Eric Rowan.
I was going to talk about that. Thank you so fucking much.
So on top of Dom's question, I want to get y'all's thoughts on the interview with Eric.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Francis, you were correct. It was 2019, not 2020.
Cool.
So anyway,
But
yeah, tell me what y'all thought of Rowan.
Oh, he was great.
I'll definitely take the reins on this because this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. Because I knew Dom was going to mention the Wyatt Six, and I really wanted to mention Eric Rowan's interview. That I know we've just seen, and we've just only seen Bo Dallas's interview. I don't think anybody's going to top Eric Rowan's interview.
No.
That was unreal because I was viewing it. I saw. I keep forgetting their podcast, but Bubba Ray Dudley's podcast, and the way breaking open or something like that.
You busted open, I think.
Busted open, yeah, and like I understand. Like Bo's was obviously very realistic, so they're going real crazy into bringing their own personal lives into this. The emotions that Eric Rowan was able to take out of me because of what he said. Bray is gone, Luke is gone, and now it's just me. I'm just Rowan. That was the most depressing thing I've ever fucking heard. And it gave me chills, it made me upset, it got me really hyped because I liked Eric Rowan. I mean, there were some points that with his wrestling, I was like, "What are you doing? That's very boring." But as he kept wrestling and as he kept going, he really developed into a good big man. So, out of all five of them, it's officially Rowan that I'm really excited to see in that ring again.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, by the way, I thought the Rowan interview was phenomenal. By the way, and I figured it would be because I've said it multiple times already. When it comes to this group, when it comes to the Wyatt Six, if there is anybody who has suffered as much, maybe even a little bit more than Bo did, it's absolutely Eric Rowan. Not
only did he have to lose Bray, but he lost.
Yeah, he had to lose Harper as well.
He is the last of the last of the original Wyatt.
The last of the original Wyatt family, and so we talk about his interview. It brought me to tears, man. Like I was genuinely like, because there wasn't a single ounce of. It's almost like for a minute he stopped being the character of Eric Rowan. Like that wasn't even done as a character. That is just him, and that is talking about. And my God, just to hear the heartbreak in this man's voice when he is talking about. When he is talking about losing his family, basically losing the both of them,
his brothers.
It's. I don't think there's. I don't know that. I think that Bo's interviews, multiple, were incredible. I don't know how they're really going to do this thing with the rest of them because they weren't very connected to Bray. I don't think they were, at least. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did know him, but
at least on screen, I don't believe there was really much connection there. I know the closest we had on screen for the rest of the Wyatt Six was Nikki Cross attempting to pull Alexa Bliss away from Bray. But other than that, I don't believe. I think the only other with Gacy and
Loomis. Two of them weren't.
and Dexter Loomis, they weren't in the main roster at the time, but
They were
it
in
was
NXT.
more.
Gacy wasn't even in WWE.
There was a
period.
lot of there was a lot of comparisons, especially for Gacy to Bray. So I'm sure they might touch on that a little bit and be like, maybe say like, oh, he inspired me to do what I do. It's like I wanted to be just like him. I wanted to impress him. And now I can't because he's gone. So I have to honor his legacy. There's some like shit like that, Like the if they do promos for each like vignettes like this for each member of the Wyatt Six, I don't believe they'll be as emotional as these first two.
Yeah. No.
All
no,
three,
no.
because Bo did too.
Don't believe
but-
it will be.
But the one line that kind of stuck with me with this VHS tape was Rowan basically saying, I fell down a well and I couldn't get up. I didn't want to get up. Why would I?
Yeah, he did. He chose it.
And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like that, like listening to that line, I was like, fuck, was that written or did he actually just
I don't
feel that? Like, was that like his thing?
Oh, it was
I don't
written,
know how
but
much
none
this
of that
written.
was fake. Like
No, yeah. Like,
that.
If it was
obviously
written,
for-
it was Rowan that wrote it. That wrote it.
yeah.
Like maybe Hunter
Um,
just said, just tell us how you feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. But I also do like the callback to the sheep mask.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Uncle Howdy hands to him at some point. But my whole thing, my point is, Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan obviously have the most emotional connection to this overlaying storyline that they're going with of losing Bray Wyatt. So I'm very interested to see where they go next. How do we move on from the emotion to people who really weren't, at least on screen, connected to Bray Wyatt? Do they reference maybe, that they were close off screen, like when they were backstage, like he would always give, because everyone always talks about how Bray would always give time, like take time to give people advice when he was backstage and this and that, and like, especially like the newcomers, like so like the people that were just getting into NXT, like at the time would have been Gacy and Loomis, and he was never shy to give advice or ideas and help
No. I
with
don't
things
think
like that.
It was.
So they could probably go with that, maybe like just talk about that kind of stuff, or it's like they can kind of make some shit up if
Yeah.
they really wanted to, or they might not do vignettes for them at all.
However, there's one other thing.
I would rather they did, because I would love to see where, like, what's the connection.
I have an idea. They definitely should do the. They all have to tell their story. Nikki, like these two, are they going to be the most realistic? I'm not saying the others aren't going to be realistic, because I think they will bring real life situations into their story. But I feel like the most scripted ones are going to be Gacy and
Loomis.
Dexter Loomis, because
Yeah.
Nikki does have a story. It might have not been with Bray Wyatt, but she did lose a best friend. Alexa Bliss was the person that brought her to a light when her character was dark before,
Yeah.
and so like she could mention like she finally found her way again after losing everything, after losing Alexa and everybody.
It's true. There is
That is
something
true, yeah, so
that
they could go with something like that.
there is something that I do want to talk about with this, and so this is a slight bit of a concern that I have with the Wyatt Six specifically. Everything that they are doing right now, everything is pure cinema, pure cinema. We mentioned it earlier on in this episode. Triple H knows how to get people to work to their strengths, I would say, and that is absolutely what Wyatt Six is doing right now. I do, however, worry of how this is going to translate in the ring. So let me give an example here. Currently, they're doing a story with Chad Gable and now the Creed brothers as well, which I'd want to tack on that real quick to the fact that I do feel like yes, we all saw it coming that the Creeds were going to be joining Chad, and we were going to be having Team Angle 2.0 or Team Gable or whatever we're going to call this. I do find it a tad bit upsetting that it's kind of been just completely overshadowed by Wyatt Six. But I understand. They
could have saved it for something else.
You really could have you could have saved this for SummerSlam, because I'm assuming that's where this is going.
I guess probably Chad versus Bo.
Maybe
Chad versus Bo. I guess Chad versus.
Or they
Howdy?
could do a 6-man tag.
6-man tag seems more healthy.
I feel like, first of all,
I mean, obviously they're not going to wrestle in those masks. I don't think they are.
Yeah,
I don't even know that they can.
No, they're not going.
Maybe modified versions of them, but I doubt it. Yeah, I mean, it could most likely be. I feel like it's probably going to be a 6-man tag, because this way we get to see the Creeds in action too.
Yeah.
But there's 4 guys.
Yes.
Time to get Kurt Angle out of retirement.
I'm saying who's the 3?
No.
Yeah. What?
I understand your question instantly, and I got it perfectly. First things first, we shouldn't see. I want them to wring this out as much as possible. You can thin this out so long because you don't need to have them wrestle right away. Like, the promos enough is just gonna keep this going for the next 6 months, but Bo Dallas, I want to see wrestle the least.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him versus the Creeds and Gable. I want him to be the person that forces his group to face them.
Not even forces, but it's I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I want him to
yeah.
do. Yeah, I want him to do it like what Bray did with the Wyatt family originally, but he would just sit at ringside while Luke Harper and Eric Rowan did all the heavy lifting, and they were devastating. So Gacy, Loomis, and Rowan should be the guys wrestling the Creeds and Chad Gable, and they should be absolutely devastating. I'm not saying it needs to be a squash, but it needs to be very
it
one-sided.
most likely will be a squash if that's the case.
No, but it's also a 6-man tag, so it's everyone's got to get their stuff in. Maybe not a squash, but a very one-sided match. If Chad Gable gets any offense, or if anyone on Team Gable gets
No
offense
sell
in, it no sell the fuck out of it. And it's if these 3 are that devastating, what the fuck can he do? And when Howdy's the one that's not even wrestling, it's they're all afraid of him. What's his deal?
Are they
You know what I
afraid
mean?
of
That's
him,
what
though?
it should. No, but you get my point. If he's in charge of them, how strong is he? How crazy is he?
It's Frieza logic now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the Ginyus were fucking crazy, and it's they all worked for Frieza. Because Frieza was stronger than all of them. But I'll let my nerdness stop there. It's bad enough we talk about wrestling for 2 hours at a time. We don't need to start bringing anime into this.
That's a different channel.
But yeah, yeah, for real. That doesn't exist yet. But yeah, long story short, the promo, the vignette was complete cinematic masterpiece in my opinion. Like what they're doing with it works so well, and it's very much the definition of less is more.
Oh my god, I know Dom's gonna hate me for saying this. A little bit of you is gonna hate me for saying this because I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks. This is gonna be better than anything Bray Wyatt has ever done. I'm putting that out there. I feel like this is the next coming. This is what we needed after The Undertaker. This is what's gonna hold it.
Yes. So, I reluctantly agree with you, Scott. I don't doubt that this is going to be better than what Bray was able to put out, simply because of the fact that Bo Dallas, had already worked this out with Bray. So this is, in all intents and purposes, this is Bray's, brainchild here. Like, he worked on this. Exactly. He worked on this with Bo. They already had this all laid out. Like, this was ready to go. Obviously, they're just doing it without him. So it's like, they got to tweak certain things because there's no Fiend.
Which is why you see when they all stand together, you see that spot
there's
where
an empty
Bray
spot.
would have been.
Yeah.
Or where Bo was originally supposed to be, and now he's standing where Bray was supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, then, I don't know, because I feel like Uncle Howdy was supposed to be the mastermind of all of it in the first place, not Bray. At least that's what I gathered from the promos between Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt when they first started teasing this whole thing years ago before he died. Like that, Uncle Howdy's the real ringleader. He's not, not Bray. He just is the strongest one of the six, other than Howdy. But I feel like this would be very different if it was under Vince McMahon. This being under Triple H lets it really shine. Lets Bray's and Bo's creativity just fucking fly off the screen. And, because Triple H said it himself, Bray Wyatt was too creative for himself. Like, he would just have so many ideas and needed to be reined in a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And Triple H was usually the one to do it, and then Vince would stifle it. But not having Vince there really lets them push certain boundaries that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So, to make a long story short, again, I can ramble all fucking day about Bray Wyatt. To make a long story short, I agree with you, Scott. I think this is probably going to be the best quote-unquote Bray Wyatt content we've seen yet.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Alright, folks, I think we are going to wrap things up there. Thank you once again for listening to yet another episode of The Push, or The Bash. We haven't figured out what the hell we're calling this episode. Be sure to, regardless, like the video, subscribe for weekly wrestling news episodes, and be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well, at The Push Wrestling, for daily content on both of those. We're pushing out daily content on both of those. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you all enjoyed. And for all of us here at The Push, my name is Cap.
I'm Dom.
Scott Bash.
And I'm Francis.
Now, if you'll all excuse me, I'm going to go kick Scott's ass for taking over my episode. Ring that bell for me, Dom. Ah!